you might you might notice something here. Everything is like squished down. You can see it on the front end here too. Like, look at that. It's like everything has just been pressed, smushed into a new car. But that's not the worst part. This is the worst part here. In fact, you might be thinking I'm showing the wrong car. No, this is well, let's be honest, it's a direct copy. It's a direct copy of the P1, isn't it? In fact, you can see the designers were like, they were thinking like, it looks like a P1. What can we do? You know, since we can't come up with our own design, what can we do to make sure people don't think it's a McLaren? Well, how about how about just spell out Bugatti on the back end? And now they say there's a good reason for this smushed look. It's to reduce the frontal area. So when we're talking about aerodynamics, yeah, the number one thing, the most important thing really is the frontal area. I mean, it doesn't matter how aerodynamic your car is. If you got a huge car, you're going to need a lot of fuel to move it through the air, especially at a fast speed. That's the whole point of this car. So yeah, this diagram here kind of shows you this light gray outline. You can barely see it. This is actually the Chiron. So you can see it was taller and wider. The cabin area was. Evidently, the rest of the car is about the same. And this was, supposedly, they were inspired by the Falcon. In fact, they say that the Falcon can fly over 200 miles per hour. So I had no idea. So since there's this functionality behind this design, I'm actually okay with it. You know, again, I think they could have done a lot. They could have done a better job here. But, you know, the one thing I would say is, in some of these photos, actually, the presence of this thing is pretty remarkable. I mean, especially, this is a big detail that they changed as well. The spine that runs down the center of the car, they made it like huge. It's huge compared to the Chiron. So, you can see it right there. It was just kind of a little detail, really. So, you know, that obviously, it's a pretty unique design element, isn't it? So, yeah, make it larger. And, you know, the only thing I would say is they kind of got a little too carried away with it. Because they were like, well, if we have this huge spine running down the center of the car, it's going to look funny, you know, where the windshield is. Because as you can see, the spine actually runs all the way to the back. So they're like, well, let's put the wiper there. You are going to have to stare at a windshield wiper while you're driving your $4 million car. Now, of course, with this Tourbillon, it's not just all about aerodynamics. Yeah, you want to increase performance, speed, acceleration. You need to make this thing lighter, don't you? So, of course, they've kind of reworked the chassis extensively. You know, as you can imagine, it's all carbon fiber, but they were able to reduce the weight even further. But the big news is it's the engine. So, on the Chiron, it had a W16 with 4 turbos. Yeah, in fact, that engine, it weighed like 900 pounds. Just the engine. Think about that. So what do we got? Yeah, we got a new V16, still 16 cylinders, but guess what? It's naturally aspirated. Why did they call it the Tourbillon? Well, this is why. This is why, right here. So the gauges, as you can see, there's no screens here. There's no digital nothing. In fact, you get these are not just your regular analog gauges. These ones are actually made by a Swiss watchmaker. In fact, this is kind of what you want in a $4 million car, isn't it? Let's be honest, this looks amazing. And, you know, by the way, we talked about the spine on the exterior. Yes, you know, of course it's got it on the inside as well. There's nothing too new there. And as you can see here, you know, a lot of mechanical switches, dials, very expensive materials, and no screen. Except, you know, you can actually, you know, if you just can't go without your screen, you can option this in. So it's going to look ridiculous, but hey, you know, it's an option.